Sean Diddy Combs has long been known as one of the biggest names in the music industry, a successful rapper, producer, and entrepreneur who has amassed a massive fortune and built a media empire. But behind the glamorous public persona, a much darker secret has been lurking. In a bombshell lawsuit filed earlier this year, Diddy's former producer Rodney Darkchild Jones made some truly shocking allegations that Diddy had been regularly using and trafficking a dangerous new synthetic drug cocktail known as TÜSI or pink cocaine. According to the lawsuit, Diddy's own staff were required to carry around these illicit substances, ready to supply them to the mogul at a moment's notice. And in one particularly brazen incident, Diddy allegedly had one of his associates fly the drug in on a private jet from Miami to Virginia, just so he could get his fix. It's a scandal that has rocked the music world and raised serious questions about the lengths that some of our biggest stars will go to feed their addictions. How deep does Diddy's involvement in the pink cocaine trade really go? And what are the terrifying health risks associated with this mysterious new drug? In this exclusive investigation, we'll dive deep into the shocking truth behind Diddy's dangerous addiction. From the origins of TÜSI to the powerful criminal organisations trafficking it, you won't believe what we uncovered. This is a story that could shake the foundations of the entertainment industry. Don't miss a single minute. The drug at the centre of this scandal is known by a few different names: TÜSI, or the more ominous-sounding pink cocaine. But no matter what you call it, this synthetic concoction has been rapidly gaining popularity in nightlife scenes across the world, and it's now making serious inroads in the United States. According to experts, TÜSI first emerged in Latin America within the last decade, with the name being a phonetic play on the term TÜ, a class of psychedelic drugs that were popular in club settings. But despite the name, TÜSI isn't actually made up primarily of two compounds. Instead, it's a constantly shifting mixture of various other illicit substances. It's mostly ketamine, in addition to a swirling cocktail of other narcotics such as MDMA, methamphetamine, opioids, and small amounts of cocaine, explains Joseph Palomar, an associate professor of population health at New Langone who has studied the drug extensively. The only ingredient that apparently won't get users high is what gives the drug its distinctive pink colour: food colouring. This constantly shifting, unpredictable nature of TÜSI is a big part of what makes it so dangerous. As Palomar notes, every batch is different. You literally don't know what they're putting in it. One sample might be heavy on the ketamine, while another could be laced with potentially deadly opioids like fentanyl. There's simply no way for users to know what they're actually ingesting. And the drug's origins in Latin America have also given it some troubling criminal connections. Authorities say the notorious Trendy Aragua gang from Venezuela has been heavily involved in smuggling TÜSI into the United States, using it as a way to expand their operations beyond their traditional strongholds. The gang has expanded into trafficking TÜSI Naipe Assistant Chief of Detectives. Jason Savino told Fox 5 News. Police sources told The Post that Trendy Aragua linked crooks are peddling TÜSI on Roosevelt Avenue street corners, a notorious open-air drug and prostitution market in Jackson Heights. So not only is TÜSI an unpredictable and potentially deadly cocktail of drugs, but it also has direct ties to some of the most dangerous criminal organisations in the Western Hemisphere. It's a truly frightening combination, given the shadowy and dangerous nature of TÜSI. It's perhaps not surprising that one of the biggest names to become associated with the drug is Sean Diddy Combs. According to the bombshell lawsuit filed by his former producer Rodney Jones, Diddy was not only a regular user of the drug, but was also allegedly involved in trafficking it. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, required all employees, from the butler to the chef to the housekeepers, to walk around with a black Prada pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GRB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and TÜSI. The implication is that these substances were readily available to Diddy at all times, ready to be consumed on demand. But the lawsuit goes even further, claiming that on one occasion, when Diddy was rehearsing for a music festival in Virginia, he wanted some TÜSI. But his alleged drug mule, Brendan Paul, had forgotten to bring it, so Coram allegedly had rapper Young Miami fly the drug in from Miami on Diddy's private jet, just so the mogul could get his fix. It's a truly brazen and shocking allegation that one of the biggest stars in the music industry was not only regularly using this dangerous synthetic drug, but was also directly involved in trafficking it across state lines. And the fact that he was allegedly willing to have it flown in on a private jet just underscores how deep his addiction may have run. Of course, Diddy has vehemently denied the claims made in the lawsuit, with his lawyer Sean Holley describing them as pure fiction. But the lawsuit does seem to be backed up by some circumstantial evidence. For one, the NIPA has confirmed that Tuzi, or pink cocaine, has been popping up with increasing frequency in drug busts across New York City. In one high-profile case from earlier this year, a 36-year-old man named Bradley Fernandez was arrested on the Lower East Side with 0.5 kilogram of the drug, as well as cocaine and firearms. And the lawsuit also alleges that Diddy's Combs Rico enterprise was involved in the procurement, transportation, and distribution of a whole host of other illicit substances, including ecstasy, cocaine, GB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. And so, if true, Diddy's alleged involvement with TÜSI would seem to be just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his drug-related activities. Of course, the most important question is not just how Diddy may have been involved with TÜSI, but what the actual health risks are for anyone who uses this dangerous drug cocktail, and the answers are truly frightening. As we mentioned earlier, the constantly shifting nature of TÜSI means that users can never be sure exactly what they're ingesting. One batch might be heavy on the ketamine, while another could be laced with potentially deadly opioids. And that unpredictability is a huge part of what makes TÜSI so dangerous. We saw one drug dealer marketing 2 entirely different substances as a pink cocaine, one a mixture of cocaine, ketamine, and MDMA dyed pink. Another batch, ketamine alone, said Bridget Brennan, the city's special narcotics prosecutor. What the seller calls the product may have no relationship to what it contains. The primary ingredient in TÜSI, ketamine, is already a powerful anesthetic that can cause hallucinations, delirium, and dissociation when abused. But when combined with other substances like MDMA, methamphetamine, or opioids, the risks skyrocket. Overdoses become much more likely, and the potential for severe adverse reactions increases dramatically. You literally don't know what they're putting in it, warns Professor Palomar. Ketamine, the concoction's primary ingredient, can be deadly when mixed with alcohol. Nightclub goers can mistakenly think they're pink cocaine so that your canes will counteract the effects of alcohol, but it can actually be a lethal combination. And the threat of fentanyl contamination is also a major concern. The powerful synthetic opioid has been showing up with increasing frequency in all kinds of illicit drugs, and experts worry it's only a matter of time before it starts getting mixed into TÜSI batches as well. We want to raise awareness because that's the next thing. It's just a matter of time we see fentanyl make its way in there and it gets stepped on too many times, said NIPID Assistant Chief Savino. Even without the threat of fentanyl, the unpredictable nature of TÜSI means that users are essentially playing Russian roulette every time they take it. They have no idea what cocktail of substances they're ingesting or how their body will react. Overdoses, severe adverse reactions, and even death are all very real possibilities. And the fact that Diddy, one of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, may have been regularly using and trafficking this dangerous drug only underscores how pervasive the problem has become. If someone with his resources and connections can get caught up in the TÜSI trade, it's a sobering reminder of just how widespread this crisis has become. The revelations about Diddy's alleged involvement with TÜSI or pink cocaine are truly shocking, but they also raise some much broader questions about the state of the entertainment industry and the drug culture that has taken root within it. After all, if the allegations in the lawsuit are true, it would mean that one of the most powerful and influential figures in music was not only a regular user of this dangerous synthetic drug, but was also directly involved in trafficking it. That's a level of criminal activity that goes far beyond the typical celebrity drug scandals we're used to seeing. And the fact that Diddy's own staff were allegedly required to carry around these illicit substances, ready to supply them to the mogul at a moment's notice, speaks to just how deeply entrenched this culture of drug abuse has become in the upper echelons of the entertainment world. It is not big yet, but concern is that it will catch fire, warns former DEA official Ray Donovan. And if Diddy's alleged involvement is any indication, that fire may already be starting to spread. Beyond the individual implications for Diddy himself, this scandal also raises serious questions about the broader culture of enablement and willful blindness that seems to exist in the music industry. How many other high-profile artists and executives might be caught up in similar webs of drug abuse and trafficking? And what responsibility do the industry's power brokers have to address this growing crisis? These are the kinds of questions that the Diddy Tuzi scandal has thrust into the spotlight. And they're not going to be easy to answer. The music world has long had a reputation for excess and indulgence, but the rise of dangerous synthetic drugs like Tuzi has taken things to a whole new level. In the end, the Diddy Tuzi trafficking scandal is a story that is both shocking and deeply troubling. It's a window into a world of excess addiction and criminal activity that exists at the highest levels of the entertainment industry. And it's a stark reminder that the glitz and glamour we see on the surface often conceals a much darker reality.